Hello and welcome to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith and today we head to Hockenheim in Germany, the famous German circuit returning to the calendar once again, but this time instead of the forest layout we are heading to the infield section for today's event. A bit of a change up for the Hockenheim ring within the Grand Prix World Series, but we still expect to see plenty of action here today. Starting off with League 2, as always, let's take a quick look at the drivers and team standings after the last round in Mugello. Earl Bamber leading the way on 100 points ahead of Marcus Ericsson on 89. Shane van Gisbergen, winner of the last race, he's up to third on 82 points. 12 ahead of Joseph Newgarden in fourth. Nick Tandy fifth in the Cooper Kiro on 60 ahead of Ye Yifei in the Lancia on 50. Mitch Evans on 49 points in seventh ahead of Julian Anlauer, Jamie Chadwick and Sergio Sette Camara rounding out the top 10 on 27 points. Looking at the team standings, Jaguar leading the way on 170 points ahead of Ducati and Lola, both on 131 points each, but Ducati ahead by virtue of having more race wins so far this season. Cooper Kiro fourth on 87 ahead of Lancia on 76, Zach Speed on 71 and then 40 Corsi on 38, Mazda on 30, Pacific on 28, Ford on 25, Iron Dames on 18, Chip Ganassi 14 and Toyota propping up the field on 5 points. Before we head down to the grid and bring you the qualifying results, we have a couple of driver changes to make note of for today's Hockenheim race. The first of those coming at the Ford team, where Hailie Deegan will make her second substitute appearance of the season, but this time in place of Felipe Drugovich, the Brazilian, taking Paul Aron out of the Mugello Grand Prix last time out, and as such picked up a race ban for today. So Hailie Deegan getting another chance to impress Lewis Battendale and the team here today in Hockenheim. And the second and final driver change comes at a Cooper Kiro team, where Ed Hunter has elected to bring back Jamie Whincup, who last raced in the Grand Prix World Series back in Season 2. Ed Hunter fancying his chances for a promotion this season and hoping that bringing Jamie Whincup, the 7-time V8 Supercars champion, into the team will increase his chances and get him that coveted P3 in the championship. So with those driver changes in the books, let's take a quick look at the qualifying results and see who will start where for today. And it is Jamie Chadwick who takes another pole position this season. She has been one of the benchmarks of qualifying so far in Season 5. She lines up on pole a tenth and a half ahead of Earl Bamber, our championship leader, in second. Shane van Gisbergen looking for his third win in 4 races today. He will start third ahead of his Ducati teammate Mitch Evans. He needs to get a strong result on the board today to maintain his chances in the championship. Jamie Whincup on his return lines up fifth in the Cooper Kiro, out-qualifying his teammate Nick Tandy, who will start seventh just behind Marcus Ericsson. Julian Anlauer eighth in the Zach Speed ahead of Ye Yifei, and Louis Delatraz rounds out the top 10 in the 40 Corsa. Roman De Angelis 11th in the Lancia ahead of Joseph Newgarden. Another not so good qualifying for Newgarden today. He will be looking to move up the order as far as possible. Dorian Pan 13th in the Iron Dames ahead of Paul Aron. Hailie Deegan on her return actually out-qualifies teammate Zane Maloney today. She'll start 15th ahead of Kamui Kobayashi and Zane Maloney, 17th in the second Ford. Nick Cassidy 18th ahead of Julian Palmer and Colton Herter 20th in the Chip Ganassi. And rounding out the field, Shosu Boy, Miki Koyama, Nick De Vries, Callum Eilert, Kyle Kirkwood and Arvid Lindblad starting 26th and last in the Toyota. Well, the past couple of seasons in Hockenheim we've enjoyed the forest layouts. Today we're heading to the infield circuits. How will this affect the racing? Will we still get some classic action here in Germany? We certainly hope so. So let's hand over to Tom Cairns, our regular commentator, and get this one started.
Another pole for Jamie Chadwick and Lola, with championship leader Earl Bamber on the front row once again. Marcus Ericsson further back in 6th place. He has it all to do if he's to go back into the championship lead. The 5 lights are coming on now here at Hockenheim. Lights on! Lights off! It's go at Hockenheim. Super getaway from Jamie Chadwick ahead of Earl Bamber. Watch out for the Ducatis of Mitch Evans and Shane van Gisbergen as they go through turn number 1. But it's Chadwick who leads ahead of Earl Bamber. And it's Shane van Gisbergen ahead of Mitch Evans, with Jamie Whincup, who's returning to the Grand Prix World Series for the first time in 3 seasons. He's up there in 5th place as we see Evans go past his Ducati teammate Shane van Gisbergen into 3rd place. But Jamie Chadwick off to a flyer here in Germany. Then it's Bamber, Evans, van Gisbergen, Whincup, Julian Anlo is up there in 6th place. It's Marcus Ericsson is down a place into 7th. Yeo for safe. Nick Tandy is 9th. And Joseph Newgarden up a couple of positions inside the top 10. And as they go through the hairpin, the slowest corner of the circuit, the Spitzker hairpin. And now they head towards the Mercedes grandstand. Here at this left-hander of turn number 8. Jamie Chadwick, she comes back towards the stadium section. Race winner of Aruba ended her run of 6 retirements in a row, last time out in Mugello. Her aim is to help her teammate Marcus Ericsson in the Drivers' Championship, as well as Lola's quest for promotion to League 1 for Season 6. Lola leads over the line, and she leads ahead of Bamber as we see Wincop, who got past Van Gisbergen on the opening lap. He's up there in 4th place now. And Van Gisbergen will be under attack here from what looks like Anloa. And we see Zhou Subai locking up into turn 1. Don't know what happened there involving the Mazda. We've got a driver in the pits as well. Roman DeAngelis has come in. And there goes the Pacific through ahead of a few cars. We're just seeing Iron Dame slowing down as well. It looks like he's been... that Iron Dame has been caught up in some form of trouble. And Chadwick leads the race then. There's Bamber, Evans, Wincop, Van Gisbergen. And lower 6th in the Sax Speed, who came very close to victory in Mugello before wrecking his front wing going over the bumpy section on the exit of Arrabbiata 2. Forcing into the pit lane for a new nose section. There he is, look, Julian Anloa. Roman DeAngelis was the driver who came into the pits at the end of lap 1 for repairs. So it's going to be a long race for him from here. Behind Newgarden in 10th place, we've got Louis Delatros in the 40. Delatros has started 10th place, is down a place. Hayley Deegan, who started 15th, is up to 12th in her second Grand Prix World Series race. She's in for the suspended Felipe Drogovic at Ford. Frank Gisberg is going to the inside of Wincop for 4th position over at turn 2. And he's made the move stick. Bamber in 2nd place. Paul Aron the next to come into the pits. But it's race over for Yiyifi in the Lancia. What a miserable race it's turning out to be already for team management Chris Cavaney. Now, where does he pull it off here? Well, he's coming towards the hairpin now. He's going to end up parking it on the apex here, and it could cause some form of issue here. And he's holding up the field. And that is not good from Yiyifi. That's a really dangerous spot to be parking up. And who was it that ran into him? Well, it was Say Maloney that ran into him, but no, it wasn't Say Maloney. It was Julian Palmer that knocked off the rear wing of the Lancia. I have to say, I think Yiyifi should have pulled off a lot sooner. It's Yiyifi who retires from the race. It's a puncture that is the cause. I'll have to see what race control make of that, because that did look avoidable by Yiyifi standards. And out goes Say Maloney in the Ford. A loose wheel entering the Mobile 1 curve. No further action is taken on the instant with Yiyifi. And Maloney's race isn't going any further. Off on the exit of the Sax curve, and it's game over for the man from Barbados. Two retirements then, as we see Nick Cassie, who's running in E12 in the Mazda. Oh, he got cut across there by the Iron Dames. I don't know what on earth was going on there, but those two had been dicing. So in actual fact, Cassidy ran wide on the grass, and it was the Iron Dames of Miki Koyama that cut across on him. Cassidy was able to go back through again. That was a very strange chain of events there. As he holds on to P12 for now, ahead of the Japanese. Behind Koyama is Colton Herter in the Chip Ganassi. And it's the second Iron Danes of Doi and Pan in 15. There are the leaders. Jamie Chadwick, who has won on this circuit during her days in W Series. She won at this track in 2019 in the inaugural W Series event. There is the Brit from Bath in Somerset. And we look at Kyle Kirkwood in the second Chip Ganassi, who runs wide on the grass, entering the final turn. He's very lucky to keep going from there. Andy Andrus is ahead of Paul Aron for 23rd place. 16 seconds off into free, so he's stuck behind his teammate Arvid Lindblad. Change for position as well between Kiryu Kobayashi and Julian Palmer. Kobayashi up there into 16th position. Dorian Pan is ahead of Colton Herter, as is Miki Koyama on Nick Cassidy. On lap number 5 out of 50. This is round 9 of the championship. We're at the halfway point in the season. Got the mid-season test to follow after this round, involving the test and reserve drivers from each of the teams. The Grand Prix World Series will resume in Poznan in Poland. Brno in the Czech Republic, Parnu, Estonia, which will be the venue for the last European race of the season, or the last European round. Then it's off to Marrakesh in Morocco, Kyalami, South Africa, New Delhi, India, Fuji, Japan, Sepang, Malaysia. And the 18th and final championship round of the season will be in Adelaide, Australia. A week after that round will be the non-championship Macau Grand Prix, involving the 13 highest scoring teams across the two leagues. The fact that there's 2 leagues. This is League 2. The top 3 teams at the end of the season will go up to League 1. In contrast, the bottom 3 teams in League 1 will go down to League 2. Out goes Arvid Lindblad. That's his first retirement of the Grand Prix World Series of his career. He's the 3rd driver to pull out of this one. We're on lap 6. It's an engine fire or an oil leak for the Brit, who, believe it or not, is under Swedish and Indian ancestry. Hence why he's got the name that he has today. He's pushed away by the marshals, and it's an oil leak that is the cause of his car to retire. Bamber in 2nd place behind Jamie Chadwick. Behind Bamber are the 2 Ducatis of Mitch Evans and Shane van Gisbergen. And Anne Lauer going through on Whincup for 5th place. Whincup down a position. Look at Jamie Chadwick in the lead. 1 seconds clear. Earl Bamber and Evans attempting to get through on Jamie Whincup, but no way through at the moment. Miki Koyama locking up also at the hairpin in the Iron Dames. Got Nick Cassidy and Dorian Pan closing in behind. And Jamie Whincup, has won the Supercars Championship in Australia on 7 occasions, the last one being in 2017. He's taken 125 wins, 238 podiums and 92 pole positions in the series. A very, very impressive CV. He did compete in the Grand Prix World Series for Simsec in Season 2 when Scott Woodwis was the manager. Dropped after a few races after a run of poor performances. He's been been given another reprieve by the Kiro team boss Ed Hunter. See what Wingfoot can do this time. We see Julian Palmer being overtaken by Sho Suboi at turn 2. See Earl Bamber in second place, keeping up with Chadwick. Louis Delchos is running a 9th in the 40, just ahead of Joseph Newgarden, heading towards the Mobile 1 curve. Looking at the championship standings in League 2, Earl Bamber came into this one 11 points clear over second place Marcus Ericsson. Shane van Gisbergen third after his victory in Mugello, 18 points off the lead. Joseph Newgarden didn't score, so he remains on 17. He's 30 points off the lead. Jamie Chadwick took the pole position, which moves her points tally onto what is now 43. And her Lola team at Marcus Ericsson's just got by Jamie Whincup for 6th place. So we've got Lola leading Jaguar, leading Ducati, leading Ducati, leading Sax Speed, leading Lola. Nick de Vries up the inside of Callum Ilott. That's for 20th place. The Dutchman goes through. Now, the Grand Prix World Series has competed in Hockenheim before, albeit on the old layout through the forest. We'll be using the current configuration that is being used here in Germany. The last time Hockenheim hosted a Formula 1 race was in 2019. It used to be the permanent home of the German Grand Prix until 2006, and that was before Hockenheim and Nürburgring alternated the German round for 2014. Hockenheim used to do it every 2 years, and Nürburgring was off the calendar for a period of 7 years before it was given a one-off chance during COVID. There we see Earl Bamber in second place. He's finished second on 4 occasions this season. Came close to clinching the League 1 Drivers' title last season. His end of season form really deprived him of being away with the championship trophy in his maiden season. Championship, Jaguar are 39 points clear over Ducati and Lola. Cooper Kiro in 4th place on 87 points. They are a total of 83 points off the lead. Jaguar are looking likely that they are going to be sealing promotion this time around, thanks to the management from Mike Smith, who was previously the Sax Speed team manager for a few seasons before switching allegiances to the British car brand of Jaguar. You see Dorian Pan in 13th. She's behind Miki Koyama. We've got 3 girls in 11th, 12th and 13th. Deacon ahead of Koyama, ahead of Pan. Sho Suboi comes in. Don't know if that is a scheduled stop. Sho Suboi had to hit him with some form of mechanical issue. Evans is P3. Hasn't finished in the last 4 races as the Kiwi. He sits 7th in the championship. The race winner in La Plata. He's got some catching up to do in the second half of the season. Ducati are looking strong to seal promotion to League One at the hands of Sam Hall, who was formerly the manager of Manor when they went down. Just giving him the opportunity to decide whether to stick with Manor or switch to the Australian brand of Ducati. I think Ducati are Australian, just bearing in mind with that one. No, they're Italian, sorry. They're the Italian brand of Ducati. On the inside goes Nick Tandy on his teammate Jamie Whincup at the hairpin. And that's enough for him to head through into P7. Not too far away from pit stops at the moment. So keep an eye on who pits in and who is attempting to do the one stop. Chadwick comes around the last corner to complete her 12th lap. Super drive also from Elbamber again. A rundown on the setups for this round. On the League 2 grid, Pacific have gone for mid-top speed. Sat Speed have gone for neutral. 40 have gone for mid-downforce. Lola have gone for maximum downforce. Lancia and Ducati have gone for neutral. Jaguar mid-top speed. Chip Ganassi neutral, Toyota mid-top speed, Iron Danes and Ford have gone for mid-downforce, Cooper Kiro and Mazda have gone for neutral. There was an overtake as well from Louis Delatraz on Jamie Whincup, but Whincup is coming back on the 40. He's back into 8th position, is the Australian. Elbamber is in 2nd place behind Jamie Chadwick. Returns to League One for Marcus Johansson, the team manager of Lola, and Sam Hall, the team manager of Ducati. The last couple of turns is the Cooper Kiro, who sat in P7 behind Marcus Ericsson. Five come Chadwick and Bamber. This is Jamie Whincup, who's under attack again from Louis Delatraz, and Delatraz goes past him at turn 2. Now, Cooper Kiro have gone for a neutral setup. 40 have gone for a mid-downforce setup, which means that the Cooper Kiro should have more straight line speed than Dave Goddard's car. I think Delatraz has made it stick this time and remains in 8th position. Although Whincup has made a mistake, he nearly takes out Newgarden. Is that an opening for Haley Deegan to go through into the points? We'll find out shortly, but Whincup's mistake has cost him a place in the points. Wide on the curb, nearly taking out Newgarden. Thankfully he didn't. Deegan alongside, and Whincup drops down to P11. Deegan having a super race so far. Now she competed at Indianapolis, but retired on the spot after a crash. Not too far in the race. Dorian Punt's just been overtaken far too easily there by Nick Cassidy. I think she's got a problem. There's a pit stop over at Ducati because Shane van Gisbergen has come into the pits. In 4th place before he entered. It's the end of lap 14, so he's got quite a bit to go before he needs to come in for a second time. Kamui Kobayashi is in for 40. Dorian Pan pits in with that problem that she had. Van Gisbergen rejoined in 13th. DeAngelis is the next to come in the Lancia. It's unlikely that Lancia will be scoring again here. See Paul Aron in 19th place in the sack speed. Just about gets the car turned in. Chadwick stays out, as does Bamber. Mitch Evans, nearly 6 seconds off the lead. Now, how quick can Van Gisbergen get on with it? Because he's coming up behind Nick Cassidy for position. Well, none of the top 10 on that last lap had pitted in. Koyama also stays out. Ball with Mitch Evans going through the hairpin. What will he decide to do to his teammate? Gisbergen is coming up to the rear of Cassidy now. I don't think it'll be too long before we see an overtake. Yeah, he's within a couple of tenths. So there he goes, look. Cassidy doesn't make it easy for him. Van Gisbergen has to hold back for now. This is costing Van Gisbergen time. And Bamber pits in from second place. This is probably to respond to Van Gisbergen. Evans is in at the same time. Chadwick remains out there, and Lower goes through into second place. Ericsson now third. Delachos is in for 40. It looks like Koyama is in the Iron Dames. This should be easy here for Bamber to get out in front of the Cassidy-Van Gisbergen battle. Toyota on the Ducati. Van Gisbergen is ahead of Evans now. So Evans lost time. Probably in the pit stops actually, because it was a busy pit lane when he was in. And in actual fact, he's now 12 seconds behind Shane Van Gisbergen. Evans has lost out big time. Van Gisbergen's ahead of Cassidy now for 9th on the circuit. Go after Earl Bamber. In the pits comes Julian Anlower in the sack speed. That allows Ericsson to go through. It's now a Lola 1 and 2 on circuit. Tandy and Newgarden remaining out there. Whincup up there in 5th place. Hayley Deegan comes in. I think that is her first pit stop, believe it or not, in the Grand Prix World Series in her second start. Lower does get out in front of Evans. Got more pit stops going on over at Toyota. Nick de Vries is in. And Bamber running wide at the hairpin, which won't help his cause in going after Chadwick. If you were Lola, what would you do with Chadwick now? Because I think Evans is Bamber is getting the gap down on Chadwick. See by locking up at turns 2 and 3. Survives for now. Jaguar. And Kobayashi is out. He stopped over at the hairpin. Don't know what the issue is, but it's race over for the Japanese. There's a gearbox failure that has put Kobayashi out on the sidelines. Goes no further. And lower. Attempting to get by Colton Herter at turn 1, which didn't work, but he'll get through this time into the second corner here. Looks like Tandy's done enough to get out in front of Mitch Evans. Go back to Chadwick, who's leading. Will she decide to pit in this lap? The answer is yes, at the end of lap 19. Mitch Evans goes past. He's ahead of Joseph Newgarden already. Now, what happens with Chadwick here? Well, the pit lane's not too busy for her right now. Jamie Whincup. P3. Over the line comes Earl Bamber, who's posted a new fast sub of the race, and Chadwick gets out behind Jamie Whincup, but she's crucially ahead of Bamber. And there's engine fire for Hayley Deegan. That's the second Ford out of the race. What a terrible shame, because she was running really well in the points before pitting, and an engine fire has put her out. Not a good day for team manager Lewis Passendale. Back to the drawing board for the American brand. Louis Delatraz is in 12th place behind Joseph Newgarden and Mitch Evans. There is Marcus Ericsson, who's leading the race now on the circuit. Comes through, penultimate turn. Remains out there for the time being. I think he's going to try and make the one-stop work here. Marcus Ericsson. Whincup locks up in front of Jamie Chadwick. She'll not want to sit behind the Cooper Kiro at all. She's in the slipstream here. She doesn't go for it at turn 1, which is sensible. And towards turn 2. The problem for the Lola is that they've gone for a maximum downforce setup compared to the Cooper Kiro. He's on a neutral setup, so the straight line speed on the Cooper Kiro will be greater to the Lola. Chadwick out of the slipstream, can't quite pull it off there, so that's going to make it difficult for her to get by. And look at El Bamba, who's closing in. And all of this is helping Marcus Ericsson further up front. There is Chadwick in 3rd place on circuit. Moment. She doesn't need to rush this by any means, but it's vitally important she stays in front of Bamber. See Kyle Kirkwood going through on the Pacific. That is on fire, and that will be Jolyon Palmer, the man who recently celebrated his newborn baby, became a father recently, the 2014 GP2 Series champion. It's race over, unfortunately, for him here. His run of 2 consecutive point scores are ended. Or has ended, I should say. And out goes Ericsson, stopping. The race lead is out. Marcus Ericsson retires yet again in the Lola. it looks like a throttle issue for the Swede. And that hands the lead over to Jamie Whincup on his Grand Prix World Series return. And that promotes Earl Bamber and Shane van Gisbergen up as well. Cooper Kiro have got a chance to win this race if they can make the strategy work. Inside goes Paul Aron on Show Suboy. We've had 7 retirements in the race now. Marcus Ericsson, Jolien Palmer, Hayley Deegan, Kamui Kobayashi, Arvid Lindblad, Zane Maloney and Yi Yifi. Close enough here. I think she's going to go for it this time. Is she alongside enough? She's not. And this is hurting Chadwick's race. He's stuck behind the Cooper Kiro. Hunter will be pleased with this. I think Chadwick is going to be alongside here. She's in the slip. She's going to go for it on the inside. And Jamie Chadwick takes the lead of the Lead 2 Hockenheim Grand Prix. And that was coming all along. Whincup did his best. The lead changes hands again. And lower going through on the Mazda of Nick Cassidy. That's for 5th place. And Nick Cassidy, who has yet to stop in this race. Super job so far. Now the Jaguar has got mid-top speed set up compared to the Cooper Kiro, so they'll have more straight line speed. So this should be easy picking here for Earl Bamber. Jamie Chadwick now posts a new fast up of the race at 1:20.3 for her. Attempting to get by Colton Herter, which backfired, and that's going to allow Newgarden to get alongside. And that's another position lost there for Evans. And you see Louis Delatraz, the only 40 left in the race. Look at Chadwick again. Wing away from Whincup and Bamber. Now the last couple of corners of the lap. And over the line in the lead right now. And we'll see Earl Bamber in 3rd position behind Jamie Whincup. And lower is 5th ahead of Cassidy. It's Tandy, Hertz, Newgarden and Evans. And Nick Cassidy does come in for his one and only stop at the end of lap 24. And it looks like Louis Delatraz is in the 40. Evans up the inside of Newgarden. Turn 2. No problem there. Cassidy gets out in 13th behind Dorian Pan. 2 Iron Dames cars running well again in 11th and 12th. Expect Jamie Whincup to be in the pits soon for his only stop. It's going to play a major role in how this race gets decided. Whincup stayed out for another lap. This is hurting El Bamba's chances of going after Chadwick. Is the margin between Pan and Cassidy. Cassidy will want to get by the Iron Danes very, very quickly to maximise his chances of a strong result today after a good showing in Mugello. And Mitch Evans is coming into his zone now a little bit, going up past Colton Herter. Callum Ilott running wide through turn 1. I don't want to be doing that too many times. Halfway point in the race, Jamie Chadwick is leading. She's going to be celebrating her second win in the championship today. Jamie Whincup, well, not a lot went his way in season 2 in his brief appearance for Simtech. Competed in 3 races and picked up only 6 points in that time. In comes the Australian from 2nd place. The end of lap 26, and his crew go to work. Get out, I think, in 9th place behind Joseph Newgarden. Although Colton Herter, I think, is in the pits now, so it'll be 8th for Whincup. In 2nd place now. He's 5 seconds off the lead though to Chadwick. I think for a pit stop you need at least 28 seconds round here at Hockenheim. Delcha's fighting it out with Paul Aron. That's for 17th. Shows Zubo is the last driver in the field in 19th position in the Mazda. Whincup in 8th position now. He's only a couple of seconds off Newgarden in the 5P7. In P3, 11 seconds off the lead is the Kiwi. Got Palmilo in the pits now for Pacific. That's his only stop of the race. Allows Dorian Pan to go up. Van Gisbergen has won, at the time of recording, he has won 81 races in the Supercars Championship, 176 podiums, 48 pole positions. He's a NASCAR Cup Series driver these days. He's taken 2 wins, 2 poles, he's finished in the top 10 on 6 occasions. In his Xfinity Series career, he's won 3 races, 3 poles, he's finished in the top 10 times. As it stands with the positions as they are, Alabama will be extending his lead in the championship race with Ericsson not scoring, Van Gisbergen on course to score. Van Gisbergen will go into 2nd place in the championship. He'll be on 97 points, whereas Bamba is on course for a 2nd place finish. He would get 18. He will be 21 points clear, heading into the halfway point of the championship title battle. Jamie Chadwick with her victory pole position and fast lap points. Should move on to 69 points. Leapfrogging Julian Anlauer, Mitch Evans, Yiffy. And as well, Nick Tandy would in actual fact stay in front of her because of where he is in the race. Should be 1 point behind him. And also Joseph Newgarden, although having said that, Newgarden's on course for 6 championship points for P7. So he would remain in 4th place, or yeah, he would be in 4th position. Jamie Chadwick would be in 6th place instead of 9th, so should move up a few positions. Standings. In regards to the team's championship, Jaguar on course for both cars in the points. They would move on to 194. Chikatsu, we've got Van Gisbergen in 3rd and Evans in 6th. They'll get 23 points, moving them on to 154. And Lola, we've got Chadwick in the lead, on course for pole and fast slow. Ericsson not scoring. They move on to 158. They'll go up into 2nd place in the team's championship, with Lola as it stands. Cooper Kiro with Tandy in 5th and Wincup in 8th. Bearing in mind, we've got the 2nd round of pit stops to come for a lot of the front runners. But right now, it'd be 14 championship points for Cooper Kiro, moving on to 101. Pulling further clear of Lancia and Sax Speed. But most realistically, it's looking like Jaguar, Ducati and Lola who are going to be going up to League 1 next season. And I think there's some engine smoke up ahead. Is that from Earl Bamber's car? Or am I just thinking aloud? No, I think it is engine smoke. I want to see what's going on because that looks suspicious. There is engine smoke, and that'll be from Earl Bamber up ahead. It is! The championship leader's in trouble, Earl Bamber! On lap 31, the championship leader is going to be pulling out. Mitch Evans comes in for his final stop in the Ducati. But this opens things up in the championship for sure. Van Gisbergen will go through into 2nd place. Bamber retires from the lead to Hockenheim Grand Prix. And it's no points for him here. This is important because if Shane Van Gisbergen was to come away with at least a 2nd place finish, he would move into the championship lead on countback. Chadwick is now 12.5 seconds ahead in the lead. He's got one more pit stop to make. Van Gisbergen is due to stop again, as is Anlauer. This is Tandy. I think Newgarden is also due in, but Wincup can go to the end. Comes in to the pits for Chip Ganassi. You see the man in 2nd place as Wincup goes past Newgarden. I think Newgarden's front wing is damaged. The right end plate of Newgarden's car has taken damage by going over the grass, I think, on the exit of turn 4. It gets worse for Jaguar. Could be Newgarden's chances of points gone. This is great news for Lola and Ducati in the teams battle. So Newgarden wasn't to score. There'll be no points for Jaguar. Ducati. So Anlauer comes in for Sax Speed. Evans has just stopped now as well, so in fact we'll leave the points thing alone until all the stops are done. And then we can run down on where it leaves the championship at that point. Newgarden comes in for a new front wing and for his final set of tyres and fuel. Koyama is in for Iron Dames. And Lower rejoins in 5th behind Whincup. I think Newgarden might just stay in the points because there's plenty of drivers in the pits. He'll gear out in front of Lou Delachar, so Newgarden stays inside the points. And we've got DeAngelis running a little too deep there in the Lancia. He's running in P18 as Chadwick comes in for her final stop. DeAngelis will get back on the lead lap. Well, I say he'll get back on the lead lap. Van Gisbergen's in the lead and he's ahead of DeAngelis on the road, but he's due to the pits again is the Kiwi. Kirkwood, who's running in 15th position, is just in front of Nick de Vries. Jamie Whincup is not ahead of Jamie Chadwick. Chadwick is well clear. Sandy is behind Chadwick. And towards turn number 8, which is where the Mercedes-Benz stand is at. Now the win may not be on the cards for Whincup right now, but second is definitely possible. Van Gisbergen is in from the lead. As Kirkwood locks up again, this time over at turn 2. Just about gets away with it. Chadwick leads Tandy. Whincup will go up the order, so Van Gisbergen will rejoin in 4th place. And Lower in 5th. Pan, who's she's yet to make her final trip to the pits. She's just in front of Mitch Evans. There's Nick Cassidy, who's due to go to the end. Or so he thought, because he's now in the pits again, is Cassidy. I don't know if he's had some form of problem. That's the Mazda. Either way, that's him dropping out of the points. Fifth, exact speed. On lap 35, it's Chadwick. There goes Sho Suboy on Miki Koyama for 12th place at the hairpin. Nick Tandy comes in for his final stop in the Cooper Kiro. Trying to go for his first win in this championship, which came very close for him in Rockingham. Has finished on the podium 3 times this season. Dorian Pan is in for Iron Dames. And it's just going in front of Mitch Evans, albeit briefly here, because I think Evans is going to go through on the inside of the Brit. And that's Nick Towndy down to 6th. Jamie Whincup on course for his first podium. He's got Shane Van Gisbergen closing him down. You see the rate that Van Gisbergen's getting. It's now just under 1.8. It's 12.3 seconds between Whincup and Chadwick in the fight for the lead, but this is the battle for second place that we are looking at. Van Gisbergen was able to take half a second out of Whincup's margin in that last sector alone. And Tandy going through on Evans. This is over at turn 2. And Tandy does get in front of the Ducati back into P5. Nicely done there from Tandy. Cooper Kiro were on course for their, I think it's their biggest haul of points since they joined the Grand Prix World Series this season. Koyama is through on Ilott into the points in P10. In sight for Jake Sanson, manager of the squad. Van Gisbergen is now on the tail of Whincup here. Callum Ilott is sown in the Pacific. He will join his teammate on the sidelines, and it's game over for team manager Kevin McMullen. It's not going to be points this time around, I'm afraid. And something else has happened further up front, because Shane Van Gisbergen is through into second place on Jamie Whincup. Van Gisbergen is through on the Cooper Kiro. Ilott's race is over. There's another one gone from this. The League 2 Drivers' Champion from last season. He's having a torrid time of it so far in the Pacific. We were one of those that went down last season from League 1. Laps remaining. 9 seconds is the margin between Whincup and Anlauer. Can Whincup just hold on to that final podium position? Anlauer is on better tyres. And now we're looking at DeAngelis and Suboi. This is for 16th position now. These are the last two drivers in the field. And Jamie Chadwick is coming up to lap the pair of them. Shows Suboi on the inside of DeAngelis. That's at turn 2. And DeAngelis will probably need to just move out of the way for Chadwick to go through. Nine drivers out of the race. Callum Ilott, Earl Bamber. We've also lost Hayley Deegan. Marcus Ericsson is another one we lost. Julian Palmer as well. Same Maloney we lost in the early stages, but likewise with Yuffie. Kamui Kobayashi also out. And the other driver we have lost. I think was Arvid Lindblad. 17 still going. So Chadwick put a lap on DeAngelis. He's had a low-key race today, unfortunately. For repairs at the end of that one, but he's going back through again on Chadwick. And looking at Lola's setup, it is a maximum downforce setup that Chadwick is running, whereas the Lancia was running a neutral setup. Winkup has got over 8 seconds in hand on Julian Anlauer. He's continuing his run of form. His maiden campaign has been very impressive as Julian Anlauer. And he failed to finish once this season. That was in Dijon-Bourgogne. He's finished in the points 6 times with a best finish of 4th in Campo Grande. He's on course for 4th place again here. Evans has dropped back from Nick Tandy since he got overtaken by him. Joseph Newgarden, after that front wing damage, is in P7. Jaguar is still on course for championship points here, now that all the pit stops are done. Jaguar on course for 6 points. Lola, 27. Cicatti, looking good for 26. So Jaguar will be on 176 points. Cicatti will be on 157. Lola will be on 158. So Lola will be leapfrogging Cicatti into 2nd place. Kubakiro with Winkup in 3rd and Tandy in 5th. That's enough to give him 25 championship points. And go on to 112. But they'll still lose slight ground to Cicatti and Lola, but closing on Jaguar. Lancia not on course to his scoring. Sat speed. Set to leapfrog them with Anlauer running in 4th place. Sat speed will move on to 83. Lancia will remain on 76. Cassie going through on Kyle Kirkwood. Last-ditch attempt to get back into the points. Nick Cassidy, who looked on course to score, but I think he suffered mechanical gremlins, which forced him into the pits for another stop. He's running in P12 right now. He's got another 10 seconds to make up on Dorian Pan for 11th. Jamie Chadwick is on her way to her 2nd win of the season. It'll be Lola's 3rd of the campaign. Jamie Chadwick will become the first female driver to win multiple races in the Grand Prix World Series. Oh no, the 2nd driver I should say, because Tatiana Calderon also won 2 races in Season 3 when she was racing for the same team. What a drive this has been from Chadwick again. No problems from the start. It's not over yet. Gisbergen go for another podium finish. Didn't have any podiums last season for Mana. He's finished on the podium twice, which happened to be both his race wins in Dijon-Bourgogne and Mugello. He'll be moving into the championship lead on countback as he stands. Ericsson won't be scoring. Newgarden for 6 championship points for P7. He'll remain in 4th place. There is Van Gisbergen. The kind of form we've been waiting since he first joined in Season 4. Didn't quite go right for him, which saw Mana relegated to League 2. Rebranded as Cicatti in the reigns of Sam Hall. The gap between Anlauer and Tandy has come down to just over 5 seconds. By the time they complete the the lap they are on. There are only 7 laps remaining. Chadwick is going to apply the Mazda of Sho Suboi, who's in 16th. Louis Delatros on course for 2 points for 40 and 9th, which would not change their position. They're quite a long way off the likes of Saxspeed and Lancia are 40. Compherter looking good for points again for Chip Ganassi in 8th. That would move them, it would move them level with Iron Danes, but with Miki Koyama running in 10th, that just keeps Jake Senson's team ahead of Phil Kinch's squad by a point. Toyota are not on course for points, neither are Ford. Pacific won't be scoring. Mazda are unlikely to be scoring. And Chadwick's off! Chadwick is off the track! What on earth has happened there? Oh, she ran wide, spun into the gravel. That's a costly error from the Lola pilot. And she's already just gone past pit entry as well. Shane van Gisbergen leads the lead to Hockenheim Grand Prix. Jamie Whincup will go up into 2nd place. That is a really, really bad mistake from the 3-time W Series champion. Julian Andler is now on course for his first podium in the Grand Prix World Series. Nick Tandy's up to 4th place. Mitch Evans goes through. Chadwick, oh, she's right in the middle of the racetrack. She's on the racing line. Can Evans get through? Well, Newgarden just about goes through. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me from Jamie Chadwick. It's not the first time we've seen her do this season. What must Marcus Johansson, the team manager of the squad, be thinking here? She's out of the points now. Cassidy goes through. Kirkwood goes through. Aron goes through. De Vries goes through. And it looks like Sho Suboi's gone through as well. And she's back in the gravel trap again, is Chadwick. This is really, really poor. And she's down a lap now on the leader. Shane van Gisbergen is on course for his 3rd victory in 4 races. They really have been gifted this on a plate as well. Lola are only going to be coming away with the pole position and 4 start points here, which is little consolation. Koyama is now up into 9th place, and Dorian Pan is into the points in P10. Chadwick does get back to the pits, although she's hit the barrier on the way to the pits. And this is going to cause problems for others. If I was Chadwick, I'd just go round. The damage is already done. And Shane van Gisbergen is coming round now as well, having to take evasive action here. Chadwick is still trying to get into the pit lane. She's not going to do it from there. going to reverse. And Mitch Evans has hit her. I think he's hit her. Has Evans. In fact, Evans came in with an issue of his own. He's got an electrical problem as Evans. He's come into the pit entry. And he's taken out Jamie Chadwick. More drama here at Hockenheim. Chadwick is out of the race at last. But will there be an investigation to that incident? I'm sure there will be. But Evans into the pits for Chicati. And it's going to be investigated after the race. We don't normally see that, but that is the decision made by race control. Evans rejoins in 10th position. So all of this promotes Joseph Newgarden up to 5th, Colton Hurts to 6th, Louis Delatres, Miki Koyama and Dorian Pan up positions. But there's your new race leader, Shane van Gisbergen. 3 laps away from victory here. Jamie Whincup on course for a 2nd place finish with Julian Anlower looking good for his first podium. Which is something after the mishap in Mugello last time out. Good haul of points coming for Kibukiro and for Chip Ganassi, both I Am Danes drivers inside the points. You see Mitch Evans just running wide at the Mobile 1 curve. He's ahead of Nick Cassidy. He might still snatch a point out of this depending on what happens in the final few laps. Again, Gisbergen close to taking his 3rd Grand Prix World Series win. It'll be Ducati's 4th of the season. This will move him into the championship lead, heading into the halfway point. Up in P2. 10 seconds behind him is Julian Anlauer. He's got Nick Cassidy closing him down. Tandy, is over, or less than 4 seconds behind the Zach speed. It's going to be a podium last this season for Chris Hosey. Evans is now on the fresher rubber. Might just go for a fastest lap here if he can help it. And he does get the fast up of the race now, does Mitch Evans. That point is taken away from Lola. They'll keep the pole position point. That's all they will be getting now. Shane van Gisbergen is about to start his final lap of the race. Surely we will not get another twist to this one. One more lap remaining for the Ducati driver of Shane van Gisbergen, Jamie Whincup. A former rival, Van Gisbergen in the Supercars Championship, is on course for a 2nd place finish on his return to the Grand Prix World Series after over 3 seasons away. There's an overtake from Paul Aron on Kyle Kirkwood for P12. What a drive it's been again from the Kiwi. Continues to go from strength to strength. He's got around about 6 corners to get through, and the victory will be coming his way again. And Ducati will close in on Jaguar in the race for the team's championship. A lot of luck has gone Shane van Gisbergen's way again, but he's there to pick up the pieces should others fail, and today has been an example of it. Nothing to take away from his efforts and from his consistency. Shane van Gisbergen wins the League 2 Hockenheim Grand Prix. It's another victory for Ducati and for team manager Sam Hall. What a day it has been for them again. Back-to-back victories. Jamie Whincup, on his return to the Grand Prix World Series, is in second place. What a drive from him. He made the one-stop strategy work. It has paid dividends for team manager Ed Hunter. Julian Anlower gets his first podium as well. It's Saxby's first podium of the season under the reins of Chris Hosey. Nick Tandy makes it 2 Cooper Kiros in the top 4. Joseph Newgarden making it to 5th place. And what a sterling drive from Colton Herter in the Chip Ganassi to 6th, just ahead of Louis Delatraz. And we're going to see the 2 Iron Dames nose to tail, 8th and 9th. Koyama ahead of Pan. Mitch Evans coming home in 10th after his late electrical issues. Nick Cassidy just missing out on points. No points for Mazda again today. Paul Aron will be 12th ahead of Kyle Kirkwood. And it's Nick De Vries, Sho Suboy and Roman DeAngelis. It is victory again for Shane van Gisbergen. He is the winner of the League 2 Hockenheim Grand Prix. Jamie Whincup is second ahead of Julian Anlower. Nick Tandy 4th. Joseph Newgarden in 5th for Jaguar. And it's Colton Herter 6th. Louis Delatraz 7th ahead of Mickey Koyama and Dorian Pan. Both Iron Dames inside the points. Mitch Evans getting over the line in 10th place. And both Ducatis scoring. In P11 is Nick Cassidy ahead of Paul Aron with Kyle Kirkwood 13th. Nick De Vries 14th with Sho Suboy and Roman DeAngelis, the last of those to finish. Jamie Chadwick retired after crashing. That incident with Mitch Evans is under investigation. That will be investigated after the race. Kyle Eilert, we've also lost with Earl Bamber, with Marcus Ericsson as well. 2 of the championship contenders hit in trouble today. Julian Palmer also retiring. Hayley Deegan, Kamui Kobayashi, Arthur Lindblad, Sam Maloney, and Yiafi with the rest of those 2 not finished. Jamie Chadwick got the point for pole position. The point for the fast lap was taken away by Mitch Evans in the final few laps. Drama in the closing stages, but that didn't affect too much to Shane van Gisbergen. He is the new championship leader. He leads a Grand Prix World Series championship for the first time. Ericsson and Bamber not scoring today after mechanical gremlins to each other. It's time to run down on the League 2 drivers in teams championships in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
3 wins in 4 races for Shane van Gisbergen, the Kiwi really hitting form at the moment and becoming one of the championship favourites this season as we hit the halfway mark. And a special shout out to Jamie Whincup as well, his first race back for a long time in the Grand Prix World Series, and he finishes second in the Cupra Kiro. A great job by him. Ed Hunter, I feel, will be very happy with his change of driver there. But what has this done to the drivers and team standings? We can have a quick look now. Shane van Gisbergen has taken over the lead at the top of the standings. His 3rd win of the season puts him onto 107 points, 7 ahead of Earl Bamber in the Jaguar, and Marcus Ericsson 3rd in the Lola on 89 points. Joseph Newgarden 4th on 80 ahead of Nick Tandy on 72, Julian Anlower on 60, Mitch Evans on 51, Yeyefe on 50, Jamie Chadwick on 43, and Sergio Sette Camara, despite not racing today, still in the top 10 on 27 points. And looking at the teams, Jaguar still holds on to the lead of the championship on 180 points, but their lead has been cut down. Ducati in 2nd on 157, Lola 3rd on 131, and Cupra Kiro 4th on 117, the 4th team to break into triple digits this season. Saxby 5th on 86 ahead of Lancia on 76, 40 Corsa on 44, Mazda on 30, Pacific on 28, and then Ford on 25 rounding out the top 10, and then Iron Dames on 24, Chip Ganassi on 22, and Toyota still struggling to score points this season. They are on 5 at the halfway mark. We can now turn our attention to League 1 and remind ourselves of the championship standings heading into this race. Felix Rosenqvist at the top of the standings for Arrows on 86 points, only 5 ahead of Scott Dixon, who is a further 5 ahead of Robin Freins, who took his maiden Grand Prix World Series victory last time out in Mugello. Getting quite close in the League One standings at the moment. Kevin Estra 4th on 69, ahead of Scott McLaughlin on 66. Kevin Magnussen 6th on 60 points, and Christopher Bell also on 60 points. Magnussen ahead by virtue of his win at the Caribbean Grand Prix. Ryo Hirakawa 8th on 51, ahead of Nicholas Latifi and Antonio Vix da Costa, rounding out the top 10 on 43 points. And in the teams, Arrows only 12 points ahead of Onyx Grand Prix at the moment, 162 over 150. HRT 3rd on 126, ahead of Fomital on 103. Minardi 5th on 81, ahead of BAR on 57. Ram Racing on 34, Andretti on 31. Carlin on 26 and Force India on 25. Currently in the relegation zone and looking to score some points today here in Hockenheim. Kramer on 12, Prost on 9 and Simtek on 8. Those teams are in desperate need of a good result if they are to stay in League One for next season. Just the one driver change for League One before we head down to the grid, and that comes at the Ram Racing team, where Joseph Loke today will make his debut in the Grand Prix World Series in place of Alex Palou, who has been banned from this event as a result of taking out Pato O'Ward last time out in Mugello. So Joseph Loke makes his debut today, and we'll keep a keen eye to see how he gets on in the Ram alongside his teammate Igor Fraga. But how did Loke get on in qualifying in comparison to his teammates and to everyone else? We can have a look now. And on pole position for today's race, it is Scott Dixon in the Onyx, one of our championship contenders, putting himself into the best place possible on the grid ahead of our latest race winner Robin Freins, second in the Arrows, less than half a tenth of a second behind Dixon. Kevin Estra also within a tenth of Dixon in qualifying. It was a very close fight for pole position today. Felix Rosenqvist 4th in the Arrows, our championship leader, a tenth and a half away from the pole time, but will look to break into that top 3 during the race. Kevin Magnussen 5th ahead of Christopher Bell and Scott McLaughlin, the 2 HRTs, qualifying together on the grid, ahead of Pascal Wehrlein, Antonio Vix da Costa and Nicholas Latifi, rounding out the top 10 in the BAR. 11th place will be Raffaele Marcello ahead of Ryo Hirakawa in the Minardi. Mahavira Kunathan 13th for BAR ahead of Jean-Eric Verne in the Force India. Jose Maria Lopez, the lead Prost in qualifying today, 15th ahead of Linus Lundqvist and Sebastian Buemi, the reigning champion, only qualifying 17th today. Stoffel Van Dorn 18th ahead of Jake Dennis and Louis Foster, the 2 Brits, rounding out the top 20. And at the back, Oliver Rowland, Pato O'Ward, Igor Fraga, Nina Hardeman, Joseph Loke for his debut today, qualifying 25th ahead of Nolan Siegel, who is 26th and last on the grid today. Well, if qualifying was this close to the front, we can't wait to see what this race will hold in store for us. There's only one way to find out, and let's waste no more time in delaying it. So let's get straight back to Tom Cairns in the commentary box, who is ready and waiting to get this one underway. So Tom, take it away.
Scott Dixon on pole for the first time this season, with Robin Freins, the race winner of last time out in Mugello, gunning for 2 in a row. The red lights are coming on now. When they extinguish, we're racing for the last time here in Hockenheim. Lights on! Lights off! It's go in Germany. Super getaway from Robin Freins. He's got the jump on Scott Dixon before they get to turn 1, so Freins takes the early lead, but Dixon's coming back round the outside, but Robin Freins is still alongside the Kiwi, and I think he's going to have the high ground into turn 2, so the Arrows is going to go through surely, but look at the HRT of Christopher Bell, who's coming through almost into second place, but it feels like Robin Freins has just lost out to Dixon, so Dixon stays in the lead. It's Freins in second, followed by Kevin Estra in third, Christopher Bell in fourth, there's Felix Rosenqvist, the championship leader, in fifth, ahead of Pascal Wehrlein, Kevin Magnussen, Antonio Felix da Costa, Scott McLaughlin and Nicholas Latifi inside the top 10 before they get to the hairpin. And there we see Rosenqvist thought about going through on Kevin Estra, who has finished every single race so far this season. Scott Dixon has failed to finish in 2 of the last 3. He's still in the fray for his 3rd Grand Prix World Series title and his first for Onyx. Haven't picked up on anyone any damage on that opening lap. Hopefully they've got through the first sequence of corners unscathed. It's Dixon who leads over the line at the end of lap 1. The race will settle down in due course. Look at the Von Mattel of Antonio Felix da Costa. Think about a move on Pascal Wehrlein. Can't quite go through that time around. But there's an overtake further behind with Nicholas Latifi getting in front of Scott McLaughlin. Latifi through into 9th position. Scott Dixon remaining in the lead. We've got Jake Dennis in the pits in the Andretti, so he's picked up damage on that opening lap. There goes da Costa on Wehrlein at the hairpin. Scott Dixon in the lead right now. Not won yet this season. Still gone in to end that here. Get his first for Onyx. His last victory coming in the League 1 Buenos Aires Grand Prix in Season 4. Robin Frines, who broke the record for the most number of Grand Prix World Series races before taking his first win. The 52nd time of asking. Latifi's got through on Magnussen for P8. The BAR coming into life in this one. Matthew Ragunathan has also moved up inside the points. And I'll run down on the setups for each of the teams. Cross have gone for neutral, HRT mid-top speed, BAR and Arrows mid-downforce, Force India neutral, Minardi and Simtek mid-downforce, Onyx and Fomatel neutral, Carlin, mid-top speed for Carlin, Prema, Andretti and Ram have all gone neutral. So far this season, we have seen 14 different drivers stand on the top step. Robin Frines was the latest one to do so in Mugello. There goes Kevin Magnussen put through on Nicholas Latifi for position. I think Kevin Estre has got in front of Christopher Bell for 3rd place. So we've got 2 Onyxes in the top 3. No retirements so far in this. We're looking at Louis Foster, who is stuck behind Jean-Luc Verne. But it's his teammate Oliver Rowland who swapped places with him. Premier of one of the teams struggling to stave off relegation right this second. Crossed on another one as well, as are Simtek. With Linus Lundqvist in 13th, behind the Force India Rafael Marcello. Just looking at the final corner there, and that's a problem for Scott McLaughlin. Yeah, he's struggling. That's a problem for the HRT as Lundqvist and Marcello go through. McLaughlin has only just gone past pit entry. It's going to be swamped by the whole field. And he could well be out of this race, the Kiwi. So the Prema's going through. Oh, and that's one of the Prosts almost running into the back of him. I think that might be Sebastian Buemi. He's just heading through. Now, for once, Lopez did out-qualify the Swiss. So it might be Lopez getting through at first. Magnussen's got through on Wehrlein for P7. Got 2 Fomatels in the top 7. P3. Approaching the end of lap 5 out of 50. 2 seconds is the margin between Dixon and Frines. Scott Dixon's tasted victory on 8 occasions. He won 4 times in Season 2, 3 times in Season 3, and once in Season 4. There's the record for the most number of poles. There's the record for the most number of podiums. And I think Scott McLaughlin has just about got back to the pits. He's lost a lot of time on approach to the pit entry, and it's a great problem for the HRT, and he will fall to last place. Jake Dennis locking up at the back in the Andretti. McLaughlin might just go in front of him here. He will go in front of Jake Dennis. McLaughlin might go for some fastest laps before he is due back in the pits again. Sebastian Buemi is up into 15th place behind Jean-Luc Verne, the reigning. So Buemi is the reigning champion in the Grand Prix World Series. He's only picked up 2 points all season so far. Prost are staring relegation down the barrel, unless they can pick up some form very, very quickly. I think Buemi is about to be overtaken here by the Prema of Louis Foster for 15th. P2. Coming into this round, Felix Rosenquist 5 points clear of Scott Dixon in the Drivers' Championship. The way things are going in this one, Scott Dixon is looking to reclaim the lead in that. As for Frines, well, he's aiming to keep Harris's run of podiums still going on. Finishing lap 7. Dixon is doing a fine job so far. It is Kevin Estra in P3. Only once he's finished on the podium this season, that was his victory in Rockingham. Lopez is behind the Carlin. It looks like Sebastian Buemi is going back through on Louis Foster ahead. He's got back ahead of the Prema. No retirements so far, which is interesting. Corner. Basically what it takes to victory this season, which was their first since Sebastian Bourdais won for them in Buenos Aires in season 2. They went through 2 winless seasons, staving off relegation, Ryan Ferris' team. Good for a title challenge, that's certain. It's Arrows who are in the lead the team's championship by 12 points over second place Onyx. Tony Fitz-Acosta has got ahead now of Christopher Bell for 5th place. From Mattel have had a really disappointing last couple of races after a brilliant early season form. Looking forward to see who's doing the 2-stop and who's doing the 1 in Hockenheim. Finds in P2 Force India. Sitting in 10th place right now in the team standings, just above the relegation zone. Sebastian Buemi's through on Shonick Verne for 14th. The next man he'll be going after is Oliver Rowland. See the Prost closing in on the Prema. There goes Nolan Siegel. This is on Pato Ward for 22nd place. Driver who's making his debut in this round is Joseph Loke, a young British talent who raced in Formula 3 last year for the Rodin Motorsport squad. Substituted for the suspended Alex Palou, who was responsible for the incident with Pato Award last time out in Mugello. Dixon still a couple of seconds clear over Robin Frines. And there's an engine blow up, and it's the championship leader Felix Rosenqvist. On lap 11, he is the first driver to retire. And the car's on fire. It's game over for the Swede. See the Fonmatel of Da Costa going through. He's holding up the HRT of Christopher Bell. Nicholas Latifi right behind. There goes Raghunathan, who locks up. Can't get the car slowed down. And there goes the Minardi of... Oh, and someone that's gone into the runoff area. And and that forced the Andretti to take evasive action. That was very, very close to being a nasty accident. Rosenqvist is off the circuit now, though. Another twist in the title battle, both in the drivers and in the teams. This will help Scott Dixon all the more. Christopher Bell is about to be overtaken by Nicholas Latifi full position. He's down to P7. Here's the American. This goes from bad to worse for HRT at the moment. I don't know whether the HRT is on a one stop in this one compared to most. That's Van Dorn with Lopez. The upgrade window will open after this round. There's also the mid-season test to follow after this, which will take place around about, I think it's a week or two after. It will be 3 weeks before the next round of the Grand Prix World Series because of the mid-season test. And then we'll resume in Poznan in Poland, which will be hosting the Grand Prix World Series round for the first time. It's a healthy situation for Onyx, not so for Arrows. See Dixon in the lead. Further behind we see Rio Hirakawa, who had a lackluster qualifying session. He was in P12 on the grid, or he was P12 on the grid, he's now running in P20. That 14 was when the round of pit stops had begun in the Lead 2 race. Dixon thinking about when he's going to put in here. He's running about 28 seconds for a pit stop. Estra running in P3. Strong as ever. Golden opportunity to go for the championship, especially with Rosenquist not going to be scoring today. And you'll see Sebastian Buemi has already got past Oliver Rowland in this one. He's now on the tail of Linus Lundqvist. Cross are running a more neutral setup this time around compared to previous rounds where they were using the maximum downforce setup, which helped them a lot before both cars had their own problems. And there goes Buemi on Lundqvist. He's into P11. He's coming alive in this race now as the reigning champion. Dixon goes round again. Frines continues on as well. Pushing as hard as he can to go after Rafael Marcello. See Frines in P2, less than 3 seconds off the lead. Dixon will go into the lead as it stands. Frines will be moving up into second place. If both hit trouble, that could open the door for Kevin Estra to sneak in. Nolan Siegel is coming for his first stop of the race in the Simtek. Van Don is through on the Force India Electronic Vern. That's for 16th position. In third place, Anthony Fitzcosta is fourth. Jake Dennis locking up. It's a low-key race in this one. Scott McLaughlin's 9 seconds off Joseph Loke. Sebastian Buemi is coming to the pits for Prost. And get some clear track, which is good news. And there's an engine fire for Christopher Bell in the HRT. John Munro will not be impressed with this. Now, will he pull it off safely, the American? Lopez goes through, as will Stoff Van Dorn and Jean-Eric Verne. And he parks up over at the arm coat. And it's game over for the HRT pilot. And Bell is out. We've got Dixon in the pits, which will allow Friends to go into the lead. Vanestra goes into second place. I think Dixon could well end up in a heap of traffic here. And Nicholas Latifi is the latest to be going up in a cloud of smoke. He pulls off safely at turn 1. And we've lost another one there. Lopez is in the pits for Prost. It's race over this time for Nicholas Latifi. He did well to get up as high, or with the run of points finishes he had before this one, 3 in a row, but he won't be scoring this time around. He's gone. Three drivers gone then from this race: Nicholas Latifi, Christopher Bell, and Felix Rosenquist. We've got Robin Fines entering the pits in the Arrows. Kevin Estra, I think, has come into the pits in the Honest. There he's carried on as Estra. DaCosta is in though. Been a better one so far for Ewan Gale's team. So Magnussen's gone through, Ragunathan's gone through, Verline has gone through, Dixon has gone through. I think Friends might get out just in front of Louis Foster, which will be crucial. Plenty of drivers in the pits, in fact. Ragunathan in P3, the only BAR left in the race now. Then we see Jean-Eric Verne running wide on the grass. It's not going to please team manager Ed Spencer too much over at Force India. P3, and further behind him are Verline and Dixon. Verline hasn't stopped yet, Dixon has. And how long will it be before Estra decides to put in? Well, he stayed out for another lap, I can tell you that. And we see the sole surviving HRT of Scott McLaughlin. Kiri running in 16th place. Ahead of him is Sebastian Buemi. Niels Lundqvist is in, well, it's just come into the pits from P7. Louis Foster is also in, which will help Sebastian Buemi's progress, as well as Scott McLaughlin's. And the third driver in the pits is Stoff Van Dorn. Joseph Lowe in for the first time in his Grand Prix World Series career. He's done a terrific job so far. Respectable one for Ross McGregor. See Oliver Rowland going through on Louis Foster for position. Astra leading, Magnussen second, and Ragunathan in third on circuit, but they have all yet to pit. And we see Magnussen in second place, and we've got Kevin Estra, the leader, in. Van Dorn locking up at the hairpin, getting away with it. I'm just going to go replay to see how he's done that. I think it's just as simple as a lockup, which is not the first we've seen over the course of today. Ragunathan's in from P3, so that will allow Dixon to go back into the lead. We've got Verline in second place, doing his best to keep up. Nina Gateman is in for Simtek. She's had a fairly decent one so far, but she hasn't scored since the opening round of the season in Aruba. Scott McLaughlin in for his first scheduled stop of the race. Fall to the back. Jake Dennis, the latest to come in. He's been at the back since he had to come in for repairs at the end of lap 1. Foster going through on Oliver Rowland. This is for 13th place. Dixon carrying on. Fines is determined to get through on Verline, who hasn't stopped yet in this race. It's likely he's going to be doing the one stop now. And there goes Frines on Verline. And that's the Dutchman through into second place. And we've got a car stopping. It's Mavi Ragunathan, who's just missed the pit entry. Both BARs are out of the race now. Their run of good form has been halted here. You see Lopez going past Oliver Rowland for 13th. The process are coming alive in this race now, thinking of it. Their race pace is beginning to really show. Now we see Scott Dixon, whose lead is coming down a little bit now by Robin Frines. He's got by Verline. Ragunathan's retirement has promoted Sebastian Boemi into 9th position. He's going after Otto Award, and Magnussen's off the circuit, and the front wing is damaged. That's over at the Sats curve. He was behind his teammate Antonio Felix da Costa when he made that error. That looks like a throttle problem there. It's not the first time we've seen that. On Magnussen's car, we saw it earlier at Mugello last time out, if you remember. And that'll be the Dane heading back into the pits. Allowing virtually the whole field to go through. Magnussen gets going again, but he will be back in the pits. There's no new front wheel fitted. And Dixon's on fire! Engine smoke on the back of the Onyx! The man who was in the lead is going to be pulling out on lap 22. Great news for Arrows, despair for Onyx. The man who was destined to take the lead in the championship after Rosenquist had retired is now not going to be doing so. For the second race in a row, Scott Dixon is out. Robin Fries leads the League One Hockenheim Grand Prix. Pascal Wehrlein is second and Kevin Estra is in third. And we've got Sean Verne in fourth, Antonio Felix Costa in fifth, Pato Ward is sixth ahead of Sebastian Buemi. I think there's a pit stop going on at Fonbatel perhaps, as Dixon's car has been pushed away. DaCosta is now in front of Verne for fourth. But there is your new race leader. It is Robin Fries going for 2 in a row. Looking at Linus Lundqvist, who's running in 8th in the Andretti. They haven't scored in the last couple of races of Linus O'Howell's team. Pascal Wehrlein comes in for what should be his only stop of the race. He pits in from second. See Jose Maria Lopez running in P11 in the Prost. Desperate in need of some points. He came very close to a podium in Mugello last time out. Wehrlein rejoins in 8th behind Rafael Marciello. Sean Verne is due to pit in at some point in this race. DaCosta has already pitted, as has Estra, and Fries has also pitted. Sean Verne hasn't yet. Expects him to do the one stop. And Buemi in the Prost again. Not again for the French team. Sebastian Buemi is out for the 6th time this season. It's not getting any better for the team. They're beginning to drop out like flies now, these drivers. We're only just approaching the halfway point in this. And Robin Fries is about to lap Kevin Magnussen. Stoff Van Dorn down the inside of the Prema of Oliver Rowland. He's now up into the points, is the Belgian. Scott Dixon will keep hold of the point for the pole position. He has the fast lap right now, but there's still a chance that still could be taken away. Magnussen is trying to get back on the lead lap here. He's on lapping Robin Fries. He's gone back through as Magnussen. Can he pull away though from the arrows? I think he can. Magnussen's about to be lapped again, and this could get a bit messy between these two because it feels like Magnussen's going to try and unlap himself again as Lewis Foster locking up at turn 2. It's in front of Lopez and Van Dorn. He's closing in on Pascal Wehrlein. He's a man on a mission. Could play a role in how this race gets decided. Estra in second place, 4 seconds off the lead as O'Ward goes for it on Nolan Siegel, who holds him off. points in from 4th. There's a good haul of points on the cards for Ed Spencer's team here. Vern will drop behind where Roland and Hirakawa are. Vern rejoins in 12th. Vines still being chased by Madison at the moment, as we see McLaughlin go through on O'Ward for 16th. Antonio Fitz-DaCosta, who came into this round 10th in the standings. He failed to finish in the last two, as Nina Gaiman locks up at the hairpin behind Igor Fraga. Costa has celebrated 2 podiums so far this season. I think he's got by Estra, and we're going to see why in a moment. And, well, it's because Estra has just come into the pits, and it's a throttle problem for Estra. It does not get any better for Ryan Ferris's team. I just wonder whether they'll refuel the car. I think they will, so that Estra can go to the end. But this is far from an ideal situation. And that allows DaCosta into 2nd place. Linus Lundqvist is into 3rd for Andretti. Estra will rejoin in P11 behind Oliver Rowland. That makes Robin Friends' life easier now. Are Andretti going to get a podium? It's unlikely, I think, but Lundqvist will give it a good old go. We see Gaiman hitting the grass there. She won't want to be doing that. And all of this has allowed Louis Foster to go up into 6th place in the Prema, which is really, really good. I mean, Prema have had a really good race of it so far, after a dismal run of form before Mugello, where Rowland was able to get some much needed points for them. Right at the bottom of it, the man running in 2nd place in this race, Antonio Fitz-DaCosta. Rafael Marcello running in 4th place ahead of Pascal Verlo. Good drive again from Marcello. Lundqvist has got all the clear track he needs in front of him. As Estra is coming back through, getting past Rowland for 10th place. That's him out of the way. Pato O'Ward going through. That is Nolan Siegel. Six drivers out of the race so far. Sebastian Buemi, Scott Dixon, Matthew Regunton, Nicholas Latifi, Christopher Bell and Felix Rosenquist. Out of the last corner comes Robin Friends. About 9 seconds clear over Antonio Fitz-DaCosta. He's flying right now. It's the Arrows pilot. Through the Sats curve again. O'Ward, Siegel and Logue in the battle for 16th. lap 30. Approaching the halfway point after this race is done. The upgrade window will open for the drivers. Setups will also be open to be submitted for the next round in Poznan. It's been a good race so far for Freins again. Same for Da Costa. Lundqvist has been the surprise of the race. And now we've got a pit stop over at Prema as Louis Foster comes in for his final stop. Caroline locking up whilst running in 5th. Dennis is in also for Andretti. Caroline locks up again at the hairpin, which will lose him time. Driver of Robin Freins, the race leader, is coming for his last stop. Soon fits Da Costa. Take over ahead of the pack. As we see, Kevin Estre stay in touch with Robin Freins in the fight for the lead, but Freins will be on better tyres to the Frenchman. He's already exiting the pits now, so... Oh, that's a spin! That's Pascal Wehrlein, or is it Hirakawa? It's Hirakawa who has spun at pit entry. Just saw the car in there, Stoffel Van Dorn going into the pits. Hirakawa caught the grass. And he's struggling to get the car back round again, and Lopez is also coming into the pits for Prost. And Hirakawa, well, he's going to be in for a disappointing end to the race. He's got back going again though. He's down to, well, where is he now? He's 18th as the Japanese. Hirakawa still continuing to have issues in that Minardi. Magnussen back in the pits again for his final stop. Border with Linus Lundqvist, and Joseph Lowe on his debut has slowed in the ramp. He just very nearly took out Stoffel Van Dorn whilst he was at it there. He is going to be pulling off at the same place where Sebastian Buemi retired earlier. It's a rear suspension failure that's forced him to park up. A fair effort from Loke. No mistakes all the way through. Lundqvist is coming for his last stop, as has Igor Fraga and Nina Gademan. Scott McLaughlin as well. So all of this has allowed Kevin Estre to go into 5th place again behind Pascal Wehrlein. Marciello is in P3. We expect him to pit again before this race is over. Wehrlein does not need to pit again. Wehrlein's on course for a podium right now. Here we see Robin Freins to stop behind Kevin Magnussen, who's only just pitted. Da Costa is in for his last stop, so Freins will go back into the lead. What about Marciello? Does he go around again? No, he's in. He's in for his last stop, is Marciello. So Wehrlein will go into 2nd place and Estre will be 3rd. Oliver Rowland up to what will be 5th place now. I think Da Costa has just come out in front of Estra. He has done. So Da Costa rejoins ahead of Estra in 3rd place. And there comes Marcello out of the pits in 8th behind Lundqvist. And there we see Louis Foster and Jose Maria Lopez, who are stuck behind Pato Ward. This is certainly losing them time. I think Foster will get O'Ward here. And there goes Foster on the Carlin. Over 3 seconds was the margin between Verline and Da Costa. It's now come down to 2.9. So Da Costa is very much getting the hammer down. I think he will get by Verline before this race is over, in all honesty. From behind we just see the Simtek. Or was that the Prost actually? I think that's the Prost of Jose Maria Lopez being overtaken by Stoff Van Dorn. Nina Gaming, your Fargo came into the pits. They've come back out again now. Gaiman has damaged her front wing this time. She did that before when she went over the grass and got away with it, but not this time. Front wing damage on the Simtek. That's clumsy from Nina. That's cost her chance of going for a points position again. And I think Liv Simtek, the team manager of the squad, has got a decision to make on whether to keep Nina in the team. If Simtek are going to be staying in League One next season, judging by their form, it's unlikely they will be. Jonathan pits in for the last time in this race. No, sorry, it's Oliver Rowland who comes in. So Rowland will fall out of the points. Rejoin in P11 behind Jose Maria Lopez. There is O'Ward, and Van Dorn's on the inside here, he'll go through. Lopez is just stuck there, he couldn't find a way through. Van Dorn gets past his teammate. And the Gaiman does make it back to the pits. Lopez goes through on the inside of O'Ward into the hairpin. He's now up into the points. We'll see Verline in 2nd place, still ahead of Da Costa, but for how long? Verline's finished on the podium before the season in Campo Grande. Sits 11th in the championship. Minardi have already tasted victory of the season, courtesy of Ria Hirakawa in Jerez. Now it's Da Costa who wants that 2nd place away from the Minardi. A former Minardi driver, believe it or not. Da Costa on the inside of Verline, and he's doing to 2nd place at the hairpin. Nicely done. Treading carefully at the front. Good go for 2 wins in a row. Norman Siegel is running in 15th. It's quite a long way away from the points. Now can Verline hold on ahead of Estra? Dennis goes through on Siegel for 15th. Verline has got Estra behind. Looking at the championship standings, the way things are going, Robin Frines will move into the lead. He'll be on 101 points. Dixon, who would have been taking the championship lead had he not pulled out, is on course for the pole position and fast lap points. Will move on to 83. Rosenquist will remain in second. Will drop to second place on 86. Kevin Estra sitting in fourth right now. So we'll move on to 81. Closing within a couple of points of Dixon. Scott McLaughlin won't be scoring, neither will Kevin Magnuson. Christopher Bell won't be scoring. Hirakawa is unlikely to score as well. Tiffy won't be scoring, and Tony Fitz-Costa will be scoring a second place finish. We'll move on to 61 points. We'll move in front of Magnuson, Bell, Hirakawa and Latifi. Strong day so far for Force India, with Marcello in 7th place, Verne is in 5th. I'll give them 16 championship points if things were to remain as they are. And Hirakawa is off again in the Minardi over at turn 8, but has rejoined rather quickly. Force India will go on to 43 points, leapfrogging Carlin and Ram. I think Andretti, looking at where they are in this one. We'll see where Lundqvist is in the field. Hirakawa is running in 17th place in the Minardi right now after his earlier mistake. Lundqvist is on course for 8 championship points. I'll move Andretti on to 39, but Force India will still be leapfrogging him. So Force India will leapfrog Carlin, Andretti and Ram into P7. Prema, we've got Foster running in 8th place. Ronan's just outside the points at the moment, but they're going to get 4 more championship points, which will still give them some hope of staying in League One for next season. McLaughlin gets through on Fraga for 13th. Carlin, we've got Van Dorn running in 9th place, so on course for a couple of points. Making it increasingly difficult for Prema, Prost and Simtek to survive. But Lopez, at least, is going to get a championship point for Prost. He'll go on to double figures for the season. This is not, by any means, the Prost team of what it was last season. Verline P3, Minardi looking good for another podium. We'll move on to 96 points, with Hirakawa unlikely to be scoring. We'll close on HRT a little bit from Mattel, who have got DaCosta in 2nd place. They'll close to within 5 points of them, actually, the way things are going here. Arrows will be extending their lead in the team's championship over Onyx. It was 12 points at the beginning of this round. It will increase to 23. It. 10 seconds off the lead as the laps continue to tick down. Frines through the last corner again. It's 25 seconds off the lead. Oh, this is talk about Sean Verne actually. He's 25 seconds off the lead. He's driven beautifully in this one as the Frenchman. And Lopez, who's just ahead of Oliver Rowland for the final point. This is important in the relegation battle. Change in the closing stages of this. Wilbur Fines looking good for 2 in a row and heading into the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Back wins it will be for him. One of Fines though is Kevin Magnussen. He's doing his best to remain on the lead lap in case anything happens in the closing laps. Rowland has got through on Lopez for the final point. Rowland is through at last. Lopez drops out and Crossing not on course to score points at this rate. Furline's gap to Estra is 3.5 seconds. Again, you see Robin Fines and Dennis, who's had little to cheer about over the course of this. It's unlikely to be scoring. And Fines is out! Robin Fines is out from the race lead on lap 43! No points for Topher Smith's squad. I did say it could all change. It just has. Antonio Felix da Costa takes the lead of the League One Hockenheim Grand Prix. Pascal Wehrlein is second and Kevin Estra is now in third position. Jean-Nic Verne is up to 4 for Force India. We've got Linus Lundqvist in 5th now, ahead of Rafael Marcello. Louis Foster up to 7th for Prema. Then it's Stoff Van Dorn, Oliver Rowland and Jose Maria Lopez back in the points again for Prost. Oliver Rowland looking up in front of Lopez. Are Von Mattel going to take victory again this season? Antonio Felix da Costa who has not won since he won 3 times in a row for Minardi in Season 3, is close to ending the drought here. As they would see Scott McLaughlin go through on Pato Award. I think Rafael Marcello has overtaken Linus Lundqvist, so we need to see that too. There are the list of drivers out. Robin Frines, Joseph Lowe, Sebastian Buemi, Scott Dixon, Matt Viragunathan, Nicholas Latifi, Christopher Bell and Felix Rosenquist. Award runs wide at the hairpin. And Estra's got past Pascal Wehrlein. What's happened to Wehrlein? Because surely he's encountered problems. He's in the pits, is Wehrlein, with issues. And Magnussen pulls off the circuit in the Fonmetal. An electrical issue has forced Wehrlein into the pits, and that's the podium gone for Minardi. That puts Jean-Luc Verne up into the podium places, and Force India are on course for their first of the season. Magnussen out of the race. It's been a low-key race, and Linus Lundqvist is also in the pits with problems. Well, Wehrlein rejoins in 5th, so he's only lost 2 places, whereas Lundqvist is going to fall out of the points. Nolan Siegel holding up Ryo Hirakawa. So both Force Indias are in the top 4 now. It just gets better for Ed Spencer. Hirakawa does get through on Nolan Siegel at last for 15th position. There is Verne. Estra now up into 2nd place. And that will be enough for him to move into the championship lead by 1 point over Felix Rosenquist. Wehrlein is in 5th place now in the Minardi. Louis Foster is in 6th. Van Dorn 7th. Lopez 8th, who's just got back in front of Rowland, believe it or not. And Scott McLaughlin has just got into the final points paying position in 10th in the HRT. Five laps to go then for the race leader, Antonio Felix da Costa. He started the race from 9th on the grid and somehow has got into the lead with just a handful of laps to go. Ed Spencer's team are about to more than double their points tally for the season. They had 25 coming into this round. They're on course to increase that to 52. Carlin are on course for good points as well. They'll move in front of Andretti as it stands. It'll be interesting to see whether Pascal Wehrlein can snatch that fast lap point away from Scott Dixon. That'll be significant if he does it. Onyx are about to retake the lead in the team's championship, and Wehrlein does get the point for the fastest lap now. He's got a few laps to go after Rafael Marcello, but I think he's going to run out of time. Verne in P3. Marcello just another 5 seconds back. 6 championship points for Carlin, which will see them leapfrog Andretti. But Force India are going to benefit the most from this, that's for sure. Da Costa, who's in P1. Von Mattel's victory would move them in front of HRT into 3rd place. One extra on course to get 19 championship points with Vestra finishing 2nd. Move back in front of Arrows, there will be 7 points clear of them. Oscar Verline posting another new fast lap of the race in the Minardi. Vern, 3. His last podium came in Sepang in Season 4 with Prost. It's a fine way to return to the podium for the Force India team, who have struggled this season. And what a day this will be for Prema and for Alex Johnston. Louis Foster is in 6th place, good for his first points of the campaign. And Oliver Rowland picking up where he left off in Mugello by getting 9th place. Just seen, well, it looks like Nina Gaidman unlapping the race leader. And that's not going to please Antonio Da Costa one bit. And Verline continues to post the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 20.2. He's now just over 4 seconds off Verline, but there's only a couple of laps left. There's no way he's going to catch him, even at the rate that he's going. Estra's getting the gap down. That's because Da Costa's still tossing it out with the Simtech. It's going to be another different race winner this season. Kevin Magnussen, Jamie Chadwick, Felix Rosenquist, Guy Yaffe, Scott McLaughlin, Mitch Evans, Marcus Ericsson, Kevin Estra, Joseph Newgarden, Rio Hirakawa, Earl Bamber, Robin Freins, and Shane van Gisbergen. I said van Gisbergen twice, didn't I? It's going to be race winner number 14 of the season. Da Costa has started his final lap of the race. What a super effort it's been from Da Costa. Astra, had it not been for his issues, probably would have been the race winner today. It's been all about Von Mattel, with Da Costa starting from 9th on the grid to get into the lead by the end of this. It gives Von Mattel a chance still in the team's championship after a poor couple of races. The fans in the stadium are about to stand up to applaud the Portuguese driver Antonio Felix da Costa, who hasn't won since Curitiba in Season 3. Antonio Felix da Costa exits the last corner to win the League One Hockenheim Grand Prix. A super effort, first win of the season for him. Kevin Estra moves into the championship lead by coming home in 2nd place. It's celebrations at Force India. Jean-Eric Vergne picks up his first podium for the team, ahead of Rafael Marcello, who is 4th, holding off Pascal Verline, who got the gap down to just over a couple of seconds. And it's going to be big points over at Prema. Louis Foster, who has struggled so much this season, gets his first points of the campaign, ahead of Stoffel van Dorn, and Jose Maria Perez ends his process run of races without points. Oliver Rowland 9th, and Scott McLaughlin gets the last point in 10th for HRT. Pato Award 11th, with Linus Lundqvist in 12th. Igor Fraga will be 13th ahead of Jake Dennis. And Rio Hirakawa, who made that poor error at the last corner earlier, will be 15th. The last driver over the line on the lead lap will be Nolan Siegel. It's a win for Antonio Felix da Costa for Mattel. His first of the season. What a brilliant performance. Kevin Estre second, Jean-Luc Verne in third place, and it's Rafael Marcello in fourth. Pascal Wehrlein fifth, had a Louis Foster. Stoffel Van Dorn seventh, Jose Maria Lopez eighth, Oliver Rowland ninth, and Scott McLaughlin taking the final point for HRT in 10th position. Running down the rest of the finishers, we have got Pato Award, Linus Lundqvist, Igor Fraga, Jake Dennis, Rio Hirakawa, Nolan Siegel, and Nina Gaiman finished in 17th place, one lap down. Kevin Magnussen retired, Robin Freins out from the lead towards the end. How big could that be at the end of the season? Joseph Loeb also retiring with suspension issues on debut in the Ram. The rest of the retirees, we've got Sebastian Buemi, another big blow for the 6th time this season he's failed to finish. Scott Dixon also out. Matt Viragunathan and Nicholas Latifi almost retiring at the same time. Christopher Bell we've also lost, and Felix Rosenquist, another big one we also lost in the early stages. There are 9 retirements from that one, a lot of them being big guns. Scott Dixon took the point for pole position, and the fast lap point going to Pascal Wehrlein. Another race, another new winner this season in Antonio Felix da Costa, but Kevin Estre's second place finish has moved him into the lead by a single point over Felix Rosenquist. It's really hotting up in the race for the championship now, that's for certain. In the team's championship, Onyx moved back into the lead over Arrows, but the gap is smaller than what it was at the beginning of today. We've reached the halfway point in the season, and it's been mesmerising in Season 5 in the Grand Prix World Series. If that's anything to go by, the second half of the season in Season 5 will be absolutely spellbinding. It's time to run down the League 1 drivers and teams standings in the voice of Topher Smith, and I'll speak to you for the next round in Poznan. Topher, over to you.
Well, if any of you were able to predict that top 3, I would love you to give me the lottery numbers for next week, please. A fantastic race here in Hockenheim, and it results in Antonio Felix da Costa's first win of the season. It was a race where a lot of the championship contenders encountered problems, and through it all, Kevin Estre finishes second and takes over the lead in the Drivers' Championship. We can have a quick look at the points table here. Kevin Estre to the top on 87 points, only one ahead of Felix Rosenquist. It is still very tight at the top as we reach the halfway mark of the season. Scott Dixon a further 4 points behind on 82, ahead of Robin Freins on 76. Antonio Felix da Costa, his victory today, moves him up to 5th in the standings on 68 points, just the 1 point ahead of Scott McLaughlin in the HRT. Kevin Magnussen in the second for Mattel on 60, ahead of Christopher Bell, Rio Hirakawa and Nicholas Latifi rounding out the top 10 on 46 points. In the team standings, Onyx leads the way on 169 points, 7 ahead of Arrows on 162. Von Mattel up to 3rd on 128, 1 ahead of HRT on 127. Minardi 5th on 92, ahead of VAR on 57. Force India with their 3rd and 4th place today, a great result for Ed Spencer's team. They are now well and truly above the relegation zone on 52 points. Ram Racing is 8th on 34, ahead of Carlin on 32, Andretti on 31, Prema on 22, Prost on 13 and Simtech on 8. It is still going to be a very fierce battle all the way to the final race of the season to see who avoids the drop into League 2 for next season. Well, what a day of action it has been here in Hockenheim. 2 fantastic races and some unexpected results as well. This is why we love the Grand Prix World Series. It can be so unpredictable sometimes. But until the next time, thank you so much for tuning in. The next race will be from Poznan in Poland. But before that, we will have an upgrade window where team managers will be able to upgrade their car's power, reliability or downforce. Will we see any change in the pecking order in Poznan? Until then, thank you for tuning in. I am Topher Smith. Take care.